Welcome to Digital Value Creation. I'm here today with Peter Bartek. Peter is a divisional president at the Marmon Berkshire Hathaway Group. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for having me.
So, Peter, why don't you talk about your background? I don't want to steal the thunder, but you're the first guy on this show with 18 patents to his name, so I want to hear more about it.
Well, again, Thomas, really a pleasure to be here on this program, and thank you again. So I'm a technology guy. I like to solve problems utilizing technology. A bit of my background is I'm a Wharton Business School graduate. I've also developed a lot of technology in the safety space. So safety technology is the area that I focus on, and sensor technology. And normally what we do is we build a hardware product that solves a problem. And it either solves that problem immediately for somebody, or they can certainly grab that data and they can upload it to whatever digital software program that they may already have where they need more data.
Thanks, Peter. We'll definitely dive into IoT sensors and the data they throw off. But before we do, let's address the elephant in the room or in the market. How is the crisis impacting your business, your customers, and your sectors that you're dealing with?
Yeah, so our sector is the transportation sector, and it certainly has had an impact on overall transportation. For our company, it certainly has an impact, and our customers have basically, a lot of them have done a lot of shutting down, and now, of course, they've reopened as far as the transportation side of things. So for us, it's definitely been a challenge. Where we already had very clear goals with where we were headed, so we had to do some shifting once the COVID crisis came. But I have to say we've survived it, and our company is surviving it quite well, and I'm pretty pleased. We have a great team, and I give all credit to them, so it's been a blessing.
Peter, you've been modest not mentioning that you won an innovation award within the Marmon Berkshire Hathaway Group, and you work with a lot of startups and companies entering the space of safety, security, especially on the physical side. So what is that journey like? Are the startups changing the kind of problems they're solving in the new reality? Yeah,
I would say for us, being a startup is you almost have to be crazy. I mean, it's very, very difficult. So it's something that I'm passionate about, something I've always been involved with. So not only did I start my own startup about 20 some years ago, when I sold that company to a Fortune 500. So I've had a lot of experience with starting a company and selling it and building products. So working with other startups, or even just like the startup that we were brought on to perform with Marmon Berkshire Hathaway, it's something that's really passionate to me. And I think the key thing is we look for startups, or we look to start not so much start companies, but products that make, the key thing is for us to be first in the market and first in the category. So anything that we do is we never copy anything in the marketplace. So anything that we do is very exciting. It's very new. But of course, there's so many challenges that are involved with that. So not only with our current company, but with the startups that I'm a part of, it's one thing, it's very exciting, and it's a lot of work.
I work at a software company, so remote work is fairly comfortable, easy to deal with. We don't really deal with physical things. We can reach customers, we can develop software. How is remote work working in an industry relying on physical things?
Yeah, for us, I don't like it. But of course, with the changing times, we have to adapt to it. So we've had some employees that started to work at home because of their some health issues. But thank goodness they're back. And it was actually a good test. But performance-wise, I have a hard time not having a team together in one location where we actually can dive in, solve issues, see each other, talk, have arguments, solve problems within ourselves, and get to work. But the remote working, for at least our company when we're developing products, it's definitely challenging. But on the remote side, I would say like some of the areas like the services that we've been able to adapt on the remote side is really freelancing. So freelancing our graphics, freelancing our website, freelancing other things, we've done more of that. And that's not been that difficult. We've been able to adapt to that. And we've saved a lot of money doing that because of efficiencies that we had to bring to the company once COVID hit, and no company was escaped that, of course.
So I liked when you joined this call today because a lot of the people I talk to are in software engineering, or maybe data science. And one of the engineers mentioned to me there's this hierarchy of needs in engineering. It starts with civil engineering. Certain things have to be, there has to be a basis for infrastructure, and that's going to be mechanical engineering, then electrical engineering, and then software engineering, and maybe data science. And in your business, you sort of touch multiple elements of this because you do mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, you guys get into software development, and ultimately probably going to throw off a lot of data that I assume is going to get you into data science. So how do you think about when you're running a business, where you're investing more of your talent? Is that shifting at all, or the core competency remains, but you probably need to find the edges and invest in the edges?
We have a pretty straightforward process, and everything for us is fast prototyping. So when we think of an idea, there's a process to get that idea from your idea to launching that product, but there's always those first major moves, and we keep that same team. So our first thing is thinking of an idea, bringing that team together and making a fast prototype. So everything we do is making a product so that we can start to show it, because everything essentially is from your customer's experience back. So although we may have an idea, that idea really comes from the customer. So getting that idea produced even to a simple product that he can see, touch, and feel, now you're really working with the customer's experience, and he wants something fairly quickly. That's our goal. Our goal is to keep the same team, keep the same process, and making sure that we can prototype very quickly. And you can call it fail fast. I call it succeed fast. Whatever they want to call it. But without a product, you really have no company.
Your companies work on sensors, and sensors throw a lot of data off. And I think in the last couple of years with Industry 4.0, there was all this discussion about IoT, connected devices replacing sensors and generating basically all the data and the data lakes that the businesses need to navigate and operate better. How do you see that transition? You're pretty close to it. How do you see that transition to IoT, or do you believe that is actually what's happening?
Yeah, I do. I think so. For us, we really focus on sensor technology, and of course, we have microprocessors. We program those microprocessors, and we put in different types of communication links, either Bluetooth, or we put in a cellular, or we put in Wi-Fi, or like what we're doing right now with 5G, so that you can connect that to any software system with the right interface. And normally, a lot of the companies we work with, they already have those interfaces already, or the software is already done. They just need to put the data in the proper spot. So what makes us really effective is we like to make hardware, and we like to put those interfaces so that the IoT really comes to life, not only in somebody, as they're using a product that we make, but you can send that data anywhere you want, and you can do analytics, analysis. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it, but we're good at giving you that data so that you can do whatever you want with that data within your already structured system.
So it's interesting. You and I had a prior discussion, and the range of products and solutions you guys got into cover everything from improving transportation for smart cities to industrial manufacturing to getting smarter golf clubs for improving a golf score, right? How do you? What are the kinds of areas that get you really excited about where technology and sensor technology is going?
For us, I work with a few young startups, and for me, some of these young startups, they're so smart, and the exciting thing is, when I started my company prior to selling it, I mean, things are just done so differently now. So what we try to do is we work with some of the younger university students that are graduating in the programming side, and to bring them on board, and the knowledge that they have, to me, is really, it does two things. It allows me to know what's going to be coming in the future, because I always feel like I don't want to be outdated, and it allows them the opportunity to bring their products to life, or their vision to life. And a lot of that has to do, again, with some of the technologies we're working with. It could be in the travel space, it could be in the transportation space, or even in the medical space. We're working on medical devices right now. And of course, what you just alluded to, we have a sports device that we feel is going to take the place of what they call TrackMan. So we've got some nice technologies where we work with the younger generation, where we can learn as they learn as well.
You're in an interesting spot because your business, in many ways, is being disrupted, or sensor technology, traditional sensor technology, is being disrupted with various startups that claim to be the next generation of IoT. And on the other hand, you're sort of disrupting some of the, or enabling some of the disruption, in smart cities and in other areas. So where do you see yourself on that continuum? Are you a disruptor, you're a disruptee, or it changes day by day?
We hope we're an enabler. We hope we can help enable a lot of these technologies to really bring it together. But for us, the first thing we're a small company, and our startups are small as well. So we really look to find our niche in the marketplace to be, again, first in the market and first in the category. So we want our products to stand alone. And then, of course, like some of the technologies we're doing now, if we can connect to a vehicle, or we can connect to a medical data, giving a doctor more medical data based on the fact that we can determine, here's a device that we developed that's a grip pressure device. But there's proven evidence that if you do this long enough, you can bring down your blood pressure. So the idea is now a doctor wants to know that the person is utilizing this every day. So we can send that data directly to their doctor. We can actually now see the analytics on what's happening, how often they use it, and then when, of course, they take their blood pressure, is it effective? So we're kind of a sensor technology company that can connect to other areas to help bring that data to people that can really know if it's useful or not.
When you and I spoke earlier and we talked about safety, transportation safety, a lot of things which you guys got involved with, first thing that comes to mind now is autonomous vehicles, whether it's cars, trucks, trains, and I don't know if airplane is going to be on the list. How do you look at that whole autonomous movement? And obviously, for everybody, top of mind is always security. Is this going to be safe? So, what's your prediction? Where is that industry going? Where is it real? Where is it hype?
Yeah, so for us, I'm involved with a lot of anti-collision technology and sensor technology with vehicles. So my background is my interest is, of course, with our technology to get involved with those smart cities. As far as autonomous vehicles, like when you have a private right of way, autonomy is there. I mean, even if you go to your airport, those people mover systems are completely autonomous. You have no driver. And why is that? Because you have you have a right of way that nobody can basically enter. So if there's a clear right of way where they can't let other traffic, autonomy is there, and it's going to only improve. Where you have the smart cities where you don't have that right of way, there's going to be semi-autonomous. So although there's going to be autonomy like there are already in vehicles now, the driver will always have ultimate control to stop the vehicle, speed up the vehicle, make a turn, not make a turn. But those sensors are so helpful already between anti-collision and sensor technology. I think they've brought down accident rates well over 20%. I mean, it's really impressive. And now we're involved with crossing technology, where we're able to do things now at crossings, or we'll soon be able to do things at crossing that no one's ever imagined. So, and those are big areas. So our key thing, so I think there is going to be a great space for autonomy. It'll either be semi-autonomous or full autonomy if we can get that clear right of way without anybody being able to put themselves in a dangerous situation by crossing a road, things of that nature.
Until we started talking, I wasn't thinking too much about securing the current infrastructure already. I mean, I just jump on a train or plane, and I assume that, well, their pilot or the driver, or the engineer knows what to do, but they're already relying a lot of the signals and sensors and the like, and that's just going to get a little bit better with autonomous vehicles, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. My car has almost every sensor imaginable, and it's very helpful. When you put my car in cruise control, and I'm sure maybe yours, but it keeps me a certain distance away from the vehicle in front. I mean, that's priceless. It stops automatically. If I get too close, it slows down. So there's some nice features, and it's only going to get better. And I love where that technology is going. In fact, you probably already know that if you get an accident in your car, immediately somebody knows from the auto manufacturer to transmit that information to someplace so that they can find, they know you've been in an accident, so they know, and now they've got, OnStar. I mean, how amazing is that? So they've got great technologies already in vehicles, but again, it's only going to get better.
As a president of your company, what are the kinds of areas, what are the technologies you're seeking out? Is there something like you're constantly looking for opportunities? Is there something in this space that really gets you excited?
So for the transportation side, I can't get too much into what our next steps are, only because it's proprietary. But I will say on the startup side, there's so many opportunities. You have to remember, because of COVID, one of the first things that companies have done is they basically said, we're going to shut down whatever we were thinking of 5 years, 10 years from now. And they focused on what's going to bring them revenue immediately. So for a small company like me, I work with some of the top executives, and I just happen to be, with an executive from one of the major pharmaceuticals. Well, hearing from him that they're shutting down some areas of their technology, we immediately hired somebody from that company. And that actually opened up doors for us that we never would have thought of, like medical devices that we're working on right now. But that probably would have never happened unless COVID hit and they shut down some of those divisions, letting a lot of people off. So a lot of people, they let a lot of people go. We were able to, not that we're taking advantage, but we were able to employ somebody and take advantage of that person's knowledge in our own direction on something that we would have never thought of. So there are a lot of opportunities like that in a lot of spaces. You just have to look for them, and they're there.
So, Peter, prediction time. So we are in the middle of this pandemic crisis. Business have slowed down, but some areas gives you a lot of opportunities. What do you think? What's your prediction? Are we coming out of this stronger than before, or you think we're going to struggle as businesses?
I think it depends on the segment. It depends on the market. I think, but in every segment, every market, there were leaders. There's visionaries. And I think those companies will survive. They'll find a way to survive, and I think they are. But I think you'll find a lot of companies will go out of business. I mean, a lot of companies are still struggling, and if they weren't ready, or let's say they weren't running their company efficiently, they may not make it through this pandemic, unfortunately. But for those companies that were leading and they were making clear their vision to their employees throughout everything, I think they're going to continue to be those leaders in the industry. I think we're going to be one of those, though. That's for sure.
That's perfect. That's the prediction. So on that happy note, Peter, thanks so much for joining me today. It was great to have you, and looking forward to connecting in the future.
Thomas, this is a great pleasure. Love your program, and really very happy to be part of it. Thank you so much.